and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Welcome to the 34th Annual Commencement Exercises of the Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center. The academic procession is about to enter the theater. Please take your seats and remain seated throughout the procession. At this time, we ask all of you to please put your cell phones, pagers, and other electronic devices in silent mode so that they don't disturb the dignity of the ceremonies. Photographs are welcome and invited. The academic procession, led by Assistant Dean for Student Services, Charlotte Taylor, our Chief Graduate Marshal, is now entering the theater. Again, please remain seated, but cheers are welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, class of 2016. The graduates are being led into the hall by faculty marshals Rena Seplowitz, Deborah Post, Daniel Subotnik, April Schwartz, Desiree Kennedy, and Gary Shaw. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Touro Law Center class of 2016. Please now welcome members of the Law Center Faculty and Administration, Touro College Administration, Touro Law Center Board of Governors, and distinguished guests led by Professor Richard Klein, the Bruce K. Gould Distinguished Professor of Law. Patricia Salkin, Dean of the Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, Howard Glickstein, Dean Emeritus of Touro Law Center, Dr. Alan Kadish, President and CEO of the Touro College and University System, Commencement Speaker Mark C. Zauderer, Esquire, are now entering the theater. Dean Salkin, with your permission, the 34th Annual Commencement Exercises of the Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center on this 29th day of May 2016 are now declared open. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, so please let's just take a moment from the joy and celebration of this graduation to honor the members of our military who gave their lives in defense of our freedoms, and to offer your thoughts and prayers for the safe return of the men and women of our armed forces currently serving in harm's way around the globe. Please all rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the United States of America. Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be delivered by Rabbi Moshe Krupka, Executive Vice President of the Touro College and University System. Rabbi Krupka.
Avinu Shabbat our Heavenly Father, bless all those who have assembled here today to rejoice in the commencement exercises of Touro College's Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center. Almighty God, Shofet Kol Haaretz, divine judge, you have instructed humanity to embrace truth, protect the vulnerable, and most of all, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, to ensure and pursue justice. Before you stand the graduates of 2016, men and women who stand at the dawn of their chosen careers to safeguard justice and truth as your agents. Let them exemplify the aspirations of their noble profession. Give them the divine guidance to provide competence, faithfulness, diligence, and good judgment to their clients. Let them offer fairness, integrity, and civility to their opposing parties and their counsel. Let them seek reconciliation, and if none can be achieved, let them resolve their dispute in a dignified fashion. To the bench, let them offer respect, truthfulness, and courtesy, and to the bar, let them strive for the highest level of professionalism, imbued with integrity, honesty, and in the spirit of public service. Dear God, may you indeed give strength, courage, and fortitude to the men and women who now prepare to leave this academy. Bless them as they set out as your agents to serve humanity wherever their diligence, compassion, and service is so sorely needed. And dear God, we ask that you shower your blessings upon the families of these students, parents, spouses, children, and other dear ones who have been there for support and encouragement and have sacrificed so much so that these students could succeed. Dear God, as we gather here this afternoon, we ask for your divine guidance and blessing for this great citadel of learning Touro's Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center. Bless the administration, faculty, and students, men and women of good faith, faith in our collective ability to achieve excellence and impart knowledge, faith in our ability to partner with the Almighty to protect the defenselessness and to advance the cause of tzedek, righteousness, and truth. Faith in our ability to serve, strengthen, and improve your world, dear God, with its rich diversity and ever-increasing potential for good. Grant us the wisdom, resolve, and fortitude to educate, to inspire, and to lead. Amen.
Please be seated. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Patricia Salkin, Dean of the Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center and Provost of the Graduate and Professional Divisions of Touro College. Dean Salkin.
Good afternoon, class of 2016. It truly is great to be here with all of you today. The faculty, the administration, and the staff are here to celebrate you for a job well done. It's your time now to celebrate. However, I ask that you also pause to remember that period of time when you were first drawn to the legal profession, wondering about the path to law school, and setting your sights on the opportunity to help others. Some of you focused on opportunities in leadership in government, business, or nonprofits. Others were committed to helping individuals make their lives better and more secure, one person at a time. Indeed, there is a special calling in each one of you to not only apply the laws, but to help shape them and reform them when needed. I've been privileged to watch you grow over these last few years, and I am filled with the confidence that each one of you will write an exciting and rewarding next chapter in your life and in the advancement of your communities. We all know that getting to this day has not been easy. You, your family, and your friends have made many sacrifices along the way. There have been days, nights, and weekends when that special someone was there in person or at the other end of the phone, giving you support and encouragement, keeping you positive, and reminding you that indeed you can do it. Members of the class of 2016, will you all please rise? Except now, I ask that you turn around and give a round of applause to thank your family and friends who have helped you along the way. They are to be celebrated as well. I also ask you to take a moment to remember members of your own families who are not here with us today, but who were influential in your lives and are no less proud of you. Please be seated, class of 2016. In a few minutes, you'll be joining an extraordinary group of more than 6,000 Touro Law Center alumni who are professionals serving in federal, state, and local elective offices, on the bench, as law school and university faculty, general counsels of Fortune 500 corporations, partners and associates in major firms, senior law enforcement officers, prosecutors, defense counsels, public interest leaders, educators, and business executives. You will go out into the profession better equipped to succeed because of the unique practical training and experience you acquired through, among other things, Touro's collaborative court program, clinic and externship experiences, moot court and advocacy programs, law review and journal experiences, our institutes, and your leadership and engagement through student organizations and public interest opportunities through our Public Advocacy Center, fellowships, and work experience. Commencement really means the beginning, but the beginning of what? Your careers, certainly, but I like to think that today will also be the start of a lifelong relationship with Touro. We will be there for you immediately during bar prep with longer library hours and individual and group attention by members of the faculty, providing refreshers on substantive areas of law, advice on approach and support, because we know that you can and will succeed. And of course, there'll always be lots of Hershey kisses in the Dean's Suite for those of you studying on campus, in addition to our now famous Good Luck Ducks. We will be there for you in the fall, including providing you with free transitional CLE courses that you will need in your first 2 years of practice. The Office of Professional and Career Development has made a lifetime commitment to meet your needs throughout your careers. Our alumni, growing in size and influence, will be there for you in mentoring, advice, and yes, with jobs. We've developed exciting new programs that are now in place for you, such as the Solo and Small Practice Incubator, an environment where Touro grads may begin their law practice and get experience under the mentoring of experienced attorneys, including faculty. What do we ask of you in return? Well, first, definitely enjoy the celebration today with your family and friends. But then refocus. Study hard and pass the bar. Remember, one and done. Believe me, it's going to be worth it. In the longer term, we hope that you will use your talent and your training to help your clients, to contribute to the profession, and help build better communities. We hope, too, that you will stay connected, come back often, and help those who will follow in your footsteps. I can speak for the Touro Law faculty, staff, and alumni in saying that we are all very proud of each one of you, and we are delighted to welcome you to the profession. We expect that the world will be a better place because of how each of you chooses to use the skills and credential that you have acquired. On a point of personal privilege, I'd like to thank the Law Center faculty, the administration, and the leadership of Touro College, including President Dr. Alan Kadish, Executive Vice President Rabbi Moshe Krupka, for their support of this great law center and their commitment to our shared mission and vision of a place of higher education and professional development where members of our extended Touro Law family make a difference every day. I also want to thank our registrar, Paula Kutch, and her husband, Bob, Carolina Armas, Assistant Dean Charlotte Taylor, Linda and Carl Barley, for being the behind-the-scenes unsung heroes to make sure that today's commencement flows beautifully, and it's all for you. Lastly, I'd like to thank and recognize the contributions of faculty who are retiring this year. Professor Deborah Post, Associate Dean for Administration Kenneth Rosenblum, Library Director and Professor April Schwartz, and Director of the Family Law Clinic, Professor Louis Silverman. It's now my honor to introduce the President of Touro College and University System, Dr. Alan Kadish.
Thank you very much, Dean Solkin. Members of the class of 2016, families, friends, members of the faculty and administration, Mr. Zauderer, on behalf of the Touro College and University System, congratulations to all of you. There's an English expression, you're known by the company you keep. King Solomon mentioned it about 3,000 years ago, saying that if you associate with people who are just, kind, and righteous, you will become just, kind, and righteous. And if you associate it with people who are foolish and evil, you're likely to become foolish and evil. As such, it's a true pleasure for me to be here today with the graduates of Touro Law School and with three very special people. Mark Zauderer, who's a friend and who's someone whose career has been amazing, whom you'll hear about later. Brooklyn Borough President Adams, who should be joining us in time to receive an honorary degree. He's got another event this morning. And most importantly, Dean Patricia Salkin, who's taken the Touro Law School through several incredible years during her tenure. I've actually been criticized a great deal by the law school faculty for appointing Dean Salkin as the provost for graduate and professional affairs. But we did it for two reasons. One, we really needed her. And the other is, in her new role, of course, she will continue to have responsibility for overseeing the Fuchsberg School of Law at Touro College and making sure that it continues on a great path. So thank you, Dean Salkin. To the graduates, I don't know all of you that well, but what I've seen of your accomplishments is that you're just and righteous as well. I'm especially honored to celebrate with you today and be part of your transition from student to professional. Some of your family and friends may have thought, with the length of time required to get to this day in your life, perhaps you were professional students. It takes many years, countless hours, and an incredible commitment to dedicate your intellect and passion to service through the legal profession. Over the last 3 to 5 years, you have each developed a collective and individual professional identity that has further refined and stamped whom you will become for the rest of your lives. You, members of Class 2016, exemplify what Touro is about, a place where knowledge and values meet. We're proud of you, and we all look forward to watching how each of you uses the privilege of your law degree to positively impact your community, your society, and yourselves. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Kadish. It's a long-standing tradition that each graduating class chooses a favorite faculty member to make some remarks at these proceedings. The class of 2016 has selected Professor Rena Seplowitz.
Dr. Kadish, Dean Salkin, Mr. Zauderer, soon the Borough President Adams, members of the Touro community, family and friends, and above all, the graduating class of 2016. Congratulations to all of you on this momentous achievement, graduation from Touro Law Center. You have honored me today more than you can possibly know by asking me to speak and selecting me as your class professor. During the years that you have spent at Touro, I have come to know so many of you and appreciated your backgrounds, your talents, your contributions, and what I know will be your success as lawyers in the future. As I came to know you over the years, I saw how your experiences, both prior to entering Touro and while you were at Touro, enriched your lives and enriched your experience as law students and what you could contribute to our community. You have drawn on these experiences in your work on the law review, on the other journals, on moot court, the student bar associations, and the clinics. Highlighting just a few, I would like first, since this is Memorial Day weekend, to note the service in the armed forces by one of our graduates who served with distinction and great risk and brought his career in the military and used it as a role model to help others in the Veterans Law Clinic, as well as writing an article published in the Law Review on the rights of detainees, a pressing issue today. In addition, we have other students with exceptional backgrounds, and you are all exceptional. Some of you, in your role as caretakers for family members, managed not only to take care of your families under difficult circumstances, but to find in that care inspiration for your legal career. Some of you have decided to enter the field of estates law and elder law, which of course has made me very happy as well. Others have decided to go into corporate work, others into commercial work, others into criminal defense work, and others into prosecution. In each of these areas, you are drawing upon your backgrounds, and I'll give you a few examples. One of you has been so interested in the issue of affordable housing that you published an article dealing with the problems that tenants have obtaining apartments and being denied access to amenities. Another has explored the issues of privacy in our digital age. Each of these has made a contribution and an impact on the future. Finally, many of you have told me about your passion for criminal law. And one of you has been awarded a grant by the Equal Justice Works for your work in the criminal defense system. This has made all of us so proud. Finally, so many of you have continued to work to help the victims of Hurricane Sandy, to help with people whose homes have been foreclosed, and in addition to help in the Veterans Law clinics, as I mentioned before. Finally, you have reinvigorated many of the bar associations, the student clubs at the school. You have sponsored programs on hot topics, dealing with issues that face all of us as a society. And you have dealt with them not in a contentious way, but respecting each other. You have argued, you have debated, but you have done so with a respect that should be a model for many of our politicians and others in today's society. Yesterday, the Torah portion for Bahar was read, and I would like to mention a particular verse that is appropriate for Memorial Day. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. You may have remembered this as the inscription on our Liberty Bell. And that inscription and those words resonate with us today, part of the Memorial Day weekend, and as future lawyers. So what does liberty mean? And I'm not going to call on you today. Don't worry. How do we answer it? And of course, we do some research. And that's what you will be doing. As lawyers, we tackle the problem. Liberty means different things to different people. And we need to understand that. It encompasses freedom of speech. And we need to understand that. And we need to understand that freedom of speech means different things to different people. It may mean that we have the freedom to say whatever we want, but we have to take responsibility for what we say as well. And freedom of speech means that we should not shut other people with diverse views down. And we should listen and reassess and think about our own positions. This is what you will do as lawyers, both on the macro level and on the micro level. On the micro level, you will listen to your clients, and you will research, you will write, you will take care of their needs in a moral and ethical way. I had the privilege many years ago of working with Mark Zauderer, and he taught me very well. As you will hear from him later, he embodies a lawyer who serves his client and serves society. And I am sure, with your background at Touro, all of you will do the same. I wish you joy in your career, the joy that I have had in teaching you and in working with you. And I wish you, of course, success on the bar exam in the first place, and second, of course, a fulfilling career, and then thirdly, that you should always come back to Touro and recognize Touro as your home. Feel comfortable with relating to us as mentors and as colleagues. And I, again, hope to see all of you in the future. Thank you.
Class of 2016, your first decision as a class was a great one with Professor Seplowitz. Today I wish to recognize 3 other outstanding faculty members for their contributions to the Law Center. The Paul Marks Public Service Award is presented to Professor Louis Silverman. Professor Silverman, would you please join me? Professor Silverman leads the Family Law Clinic, and for years he has served as chair of our Graduation and Awards Committee. While we certainly thank him for this service, it's not what the Paul Marks Award is for. We give this special award to recognize a faculty member who goes beyond the scope of their employment to serve as a role model for students in volunteer service to the public. For a number of years, Professor Silverman has served the Suffolk County Pro Bono Project. He screens most of the clients who seek a pro bono attorney for a divorce. He interviews the clients and writes reports for the pro bono panel. Each screening process takes 1.5 to 2 hours, and in 2015, he screened approximately 50 clients. He also coordinated a divorce boot camp to help recruit volunteer attorneys for divorce cases, and he serves as a mentor to the attorneys who accept cases. Professor Silverman also assisted Nassau-Suffolk Law Services with developing a child support project for which they received a grant. This represents just a 1-year snapshot of a consistent annual commitment to public interest, public service, and pro bono. He has been recognized by the Suffolk Bar Association as Attorney of the Month, and he has been honored at their annual pro bono luncheon. Lastly, I might mention to the class of 2016, you have not heard the end of Professor Silverman, as he was selected by the New York Board of Law Examiners to be their face and voice, if you will, delivering content for the family law module for the required New York law course that every applicant for admission to the bar in New York must now complete. So now the rest of the country and the world will know the Touro treasure that is our Professor Lou. Congratulations and thank you, Professor Silverman. The Milton Handler Scholarship Award is presented to Professor Sam Levine. Professor Levine, would you please join me? Congratulations, Professor, on your scholarly accomplishments. Engaging in continued inquiry to further develop the law and to educate the courts, lawmakers, the profession, and the public is an important part of our professional identity as faculty. But Professor Levine takes this to a different level. Every year he has worked with the Law Review to plan and present a symposium with incredible articles on topics including religious legal theory, the impact of the work of Justice Brandeis, and yes, even Billy Joel and the law. This may be part of his service to the institution, and yet the hours required to bring together and coordinate the efforts of leading scholars and jurists is nothing short of heroic. However, this is not why we honor Professor Levine today. We recognize him with the Milton Handler Award for his personal commitment to the pursuit of a scholarly agenda. In the last year, Professor Levine has published 3 articles on judicial rhetoric and lawyers' roles in the Notre Dame Law Review, the law and spirit of the law in legal ethics in the ABA Journal of the Professional Lawyer, and a critique of the Hobby Lobby case and the Supreme Court's handoff approach to religion in the Notre Dame Law Review online. Plus, of course, the introduction to the Touro Law Review Symposium on Billy Joel and the law. Congratulations, Professor Levine. The Excellence in Teaching Award is presented to Professor Suzanne Darrow Kleinhaus. Professor Kleinhaus, will you please join me? Professor Kleinhaus is known to the class of 2016 and, quite frankly, to everyone as the bar guru or the bar czarina. She has literally written the books on bar preparation in New York and nationally, and is a leading authority on everything bar exam. And while this alone and her efforts in leading our academic support and bar preparation department would be enough, one truly achieves excellence in teaching when we inspire our students to reach their potential and then stretch them even more. Class of 2016, lest you think that the dean does not read all, and I mean all, of the comments you provide on each of your course evaluations, the good, the bad, and the ugly, let me share with you what some of you wrote about Professor Kleinhaus. Great professor. She is excellent in her ability to engage the students and relate coursework to everyday realities. I left out the shopping part. She is fabulous. She explains everything clearly, and she knows what she is talking about. She made me enjoy my experience at Touro. She is a great teacher and a wonderful woman. I aspire to be like her. SDK is amazing. She is a great teacher and she inspires all of us. She truly cares for her students and does what she can to help us succeed. The professor is a brilliant teacher. There has never been a dull moment. She is like a mother hen. She is more than respectful and patient. She is very kind and helps her students. One of the greatest classes I have ever attended, one of the most caring professors. Although it was extra work, she was right. In order to master the skills, we have to keep practicing the activities. Class of 2016, you have spoken. Congratulations, Professor Kleinhaus. Take a picture. Yes. Turn the plaque around. The valedictorians are those graduating students with the highest cumulative grade point averages in their divisions. This year's valedictorians are Lauren Whitland for the full-time division, and Julia Marinella Capi Anicelli for the part-time division. The salutatorians are the two graduating students with the second highest cumulative grade point averages in their divisions. This year's salutatorians are Lauren Dwarica for the full-time division and Kristen M. Curley for the part-time division. Will the four of you please join me on stage? Julia, Lauren, and Kristen, would you please come up to the stage? I like something about the four women up here. The valedictorians will now share some brief remarks. First, Ms. Whitland. Ms. Whitland began her introduction to law while still an undergraduate as a student hearing officer for the Administrative Hearing Board at SUNY Stony Brook University. As a member of the Touro Law Review, her article entitled "Access Denied, the Tale of Two Tenants and Building Amenities" was selected as the best article by a graduating student. This semester, she served as one of our pro bono scholars, which allowed her to take the February bar exam and then serve in the Mental Health Law Project at Nassau-Suffolk Law Services. Having been successful on the bar exam, she will be admitted to practice law within the next few weeks. Ms. Whitland.
Thank you, Dean Salkin. Okay. I like to start off with one of my favorite quotes by the boxer Muhammad Ali. It goes, quote, "Champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have the skill and the will, but the will must be stronger than the skill. As some of you may know, I am an avid runner. I viewed law school as a 5K race. A 5K is equivalent to a 3.1 mile run. Each mile I considered a year of law school. When you start off that first mile, you need to set your pace. That is what we did as first-year law students. As 1Ls, we had to get adjusted to classes, and we learned how to write like lawyers by completing our memoranda of law and appellate briefs. The second mile of our race was keeping that pace. That was our second year of law school. 2Ls, we were accustomed to briefing for class and knew what to expect on a law school exam. We were also given the opportunity to take elective classes in order to broaden our legal knowledge. The last mile, our third year as law students, we had to finish strong. We were able to participate in clinics and externships, which gave us experiences not obtainable in a classroom setting. However, the race is not over yet. There is a little thing called the bar exam, and it is the home stretch of our race as well as our law school career. This is where your will has to be stronger than your skill. Touro Law Center has given each and every one of us the skill for this final stretch, and it is up to us to have the will to succeed. It requires hard work, sacrifice, and dedication. I did not run this race alone. We all ran it together. Each and every one of us is a champion because we had the deep desire to become lawyers, the dream of making a difference, and the vision to be inspired. Because of our time at Touro Law Center, we've developed the skills needed to become great attorneys in order to make a difference in people's lives. While in law school, becoming a part of the Pro Bono Scholars Program was one of the best decisions I made. During my last semester of law school, I volunteered over 520 hours at Nassau-Suffolk Law Services. At my placement, I was afforded the opportunity to obtain hands-on experience before graduation. It was a very rewarding experience to be able to help low-income clients and to be able to give back to the community. I'd like to switch gears now and thank several people in my life who have given me support in so many ways. First, I would like to thank our professors who have pressed upon us the great responsibility of what it takes to be a successful lawyer. They have helped us to learn how to think and act like lawyers. Second, I would like to thank my boyfriend Joe for always believing in me. Third, I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank my family, including my grandmother, who is no longer with us. Although she did not live to see me in law school, I know she is looking down on me right now. She always stressed the value of a good education, especially for women. I'd also like to thank my mom and brother. Thank you, Mom, for always making sure there was dinner waiting for me when I got home and for making sure I have everything I need. Thank you to my brother, who is always there to listen and who has been my favorite gym buddy. Lastly, I would like to thank my dad. He is my biggest role model and inspiration. He has taught me the importance of hard work, dedication, honesty, and most importantly, to be true to yourself. There have been people in all our lives who have supported and encouraged us throughout our law school years. Make sure you thank them tonight, because tonight is not only a celebration for us, but a celebration for all of them as well. Each and every one of us sitting here today has run their own race. We've all stumbled a few times and maybe even had to walk to catch our breath, but we've all made it this far. Congratulations, Touro Law Center, class of 2016.
Nice job, Lauren, thank you. Now the valedictorian of our part-time division, Julia Marianella Cappy Ancinelli. Ms. Ancinelli is a graduate of New York University and spent much of her law school career working on legal writing as the case note and constitutional law editor of the Law Review, and as the author of not one, but 2 published notes, and as a writing coach for our students. She also served as a research assistant for 3 faculty members and as an intern for a United States magistrate judge. Julia.
Thank you, Dean Salkin. Good afternoon, faculty, family, friends, and my fellow classmates. I want to first congratulate everyone on our truly impressive accomplishment. We've been through a lot together. For several years now, we've juggled long days of classes, finals, internships, clinics, work, studying, and sometimes, if we're lucky, a social life. I have a particularly special bond with my fellow Knight students because we've shared many of the same personal challenges. And while I've had a job throughout law school, I can't even compare myself to some of my classmates who not only work full-time, but commute from the city or Jersey, have families and children, and somehow manage to squeeze in classes and studying. But whatever our personal situations, all of us graduating today, day and night students alike, have shared this long and grueling but rewarding law school experience, and I'm proud to have been a part of Touro Law Center's class of 2016. So here's what I've learned in law school. First, I've learned that there are a lot of misconceptions about lawyers, and I'm determined to prove them wrong. Abraham Lincoln once wrote, "There is a vague popular belief that lawyers are necessarily dishonest. I know it might shock you, but it turns out people often joke about lawyers being dishonest. For example, when I Googled quotes about lawyers, I came across things like, 'The trouble with law is lawyers.' 'The only thing scarier than Godzilla is Godzilla's lawyer.' I like that one. 'A lawyer will do anything to win a case. Sometimes he will even tell the truth.' These are really harsh, but Lincoln's quote continues, 'Let no young man choosing the law for a calling for a moment yield to the popular belief. Resolve to be honest at all events, and if in your own judgment you cannot be an honest lawyer, resolve to be honest without being a lawyer.' So I urge you all to take President Lincoln's advice, as I intend to do, and never let this popular misconception discourage or misguide you. Because as long as you follow your heart, your mind, and the ethical rules of conduct, you should be honored to be a member of one of the most noble professions, which is founded upon the virtues of truth and justice. This leads me to my second point. Sorry, I'm nervous, my mouth is dry. Which is that I've come to treasure the fact that there are endless ways for lawyers to create lasting contributions in this world, ranging from modest and individual to ambitious and societal. Whether you fight on behalf of a single person in a small lawsuit, thousands of workers in a large lawsuit, or society itself, whether as a public interest lawyer or by seeking reform of unfair and outdated laws. The degrees we're receiving today are tools for challenging injustice, healing suffering, and most importantly, inspiring progress. The third thing I've learned is that my law school education has given me a unique perspective of the world. I'll tell you a quick personal story as an example. I got engaged my 3L year and married my 4L year. When this news got out, a professor said to me, "I hope you're waiting until after you graduate to get married." Before law school, I would have had no idea why this mattered, but thanks to my excellent Touro education, I knew that marriage before graduation meant that my law degree was marital property subject to equitable distribution. In other words, I should have gotten a prenup. Ironically enough, that law was just overturned in January. Thank you, Mikkel. So, sorry, babe, you missed your chance. But joking aside, law school really has taught us to see the world in a different light. So thank you, Touro, and all the deans, professors, and administrators for providing us with a new and enlightened view of the world, for your constant accessibility, support, and invaluable guidance, and for looking out for my financial interests. The last and probably most valuable thing I've learned, or at least has been reinforced, is the importance of family and friends and always appreciating their love and support. Personally, I'm grateful for my wonderful husband, Adam, Touro Law Class of 2010, who has supported, encouraged, and mentored me these last few years, who's put up with the irrational ball of stress and tears I become during finals, and who probably earned his fair share of my law degree. I'm also indebted to my family, especially my parents, who have believed in me from my first day of kindergarten through my last day of law school, and for the past 4 years have understood when I couldn't make it to family events or had to bring my textbooks to family dinners. I think I can safely say on behalf of all of my fellow graduates that we thank our families and friends who have stood by us, encouraged us, and given us hugs and ice cream when we come home crying after a final, because without you, we would not have made it through these last few years in one sane peace. So thank you, congratulations, and remember, you can let people make all the lawyer jokes they want as long as they sign a retainer first.
Thank you, Julia. To broaden access to legal education, Touro offers a 5-year part-time evening program. Graduates completing this program are not eligible for Valedictorian or Salutatorian awards, but we do want to honor the achievements of the graduates who finished first and second in the 5-year program with outstanding academic achievement awards. Will Laura A. Ahern, highest cumulative GPA, and Joseph Rizza, second highest cumulative GPA, please come forward. Will Abraham Ali Dayan please come forward? Each year, the graduating students choose one of their own to be the recipient of the Ronnie D. Cohn Class Orator Award and to address the graduates, faculty, and guests. This year's class orator is Abraham Ali Dayan. His interest in sports is well documented. In his undergraduate studies at St. John's University, he majored in sports management. This year, he served as president of the Arts, Entertainment, and Sports Law Society, and twice he participated in the National Baseball Arbitration Competition. Mr. Dayan is a voice that everyone recognizes.
All right, I didn't realize I was going to have such a tough act to follow, but here we go. Thank you, Dean Sulkin, distinguished faculty and staff, and perhaps most importantly, our loving family and friends. Congratulations to the 2016 graduating class of Touro Disney. At first, when I was nominated, I thought to myself, this sounds pretty fun, and then when it came down to it, like everything else in life, I just wanted to win. So I sat down and I started to prepare my speech. And I thought, what did I get myself into? Gabby, I should have just let you do it. So I thought about some of the privileges that I was awarded by coming to Touro, like being the recipient of the Rifkin-Bradler Board of Governors Scholarship, one of the best firms in New York, or how I was able to compete nationally twice at the Tulane National Baseball Arbitration Competition with my brother, who's here, as well as Matt Oginski. Touro Law for the dub! But thank you to Dean Berman and Professor Lynn Kramer. I can never thank the two of you enough for how grateful I am for those opportunities and how amazing of an experience that was that I will never forget. Then I thought about all those study break nights with the mayor of Maxwell's, damn Daniel Halbert, and those nights at 2097 with Stefan. Happy birthday, brother. All those nights that we lived for, that we can't remember, that we will certainly, with the people we will never forget. Got to make sure to credit Drake with that one. But that wasn't enough. Didn't substance me with that speech. So I went to one of the respected faculty members and I asked, what should I say? And he told me, be inspirational, but don't be like everybody else. And then others came to me. So, Abby, have you thought about what you were going to say? At the time, I had not. So he told me, well, I think you should be controversial, because everybody will remember controversial. But I don't think that teacher wants me to be controversial, because if I would just be up here performing the only crime that he taught us. But through it all, the faculty at Touro Disney have always been there for us, even if there are a few rotten apples. So I thought and I thought, but then I realized it was the hunger, drive, and determination that made me want to make this speech. That's what makes myself and all of you sitting before us Touro students. Because most of us had been told no when it came to applying to law school. However, we would not take no for an answer. No one was going to tell us that we couldn't fulfill our dreams of becoming lawyers. So I'll leave you with the story that a wise man and a Touro alum once told me. On an interview with a large firm, he was asked, so why should I hire you? His response was brilliant, and one that we could all use. So he told them, that's right, I did go to Touro, and that's exactly why you should hire me. Because unlike the candidates from Harvard or Yale or any other Ivy League school, I didn't get a silver spoon in my mouth. And I had to work hard every single day, not only in law school, just to get into law school. And I have not stopped working hard since. And I know that I will continue to work even harder to prove you and all these other doubters wrong. Because a Touro student Touro student knows what it's like to deal with adversity. So now, Professor Questel, this time it's my turn to ask you, would my father say that? Because he did say that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank him while I was up here for being my biggest role model. Thank you, Dad. I love you. So I leave you with a quote from Steve Jobs. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied with what you do is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. As I look around the room, I see a bunch of people that I was privileged to sit and learn with over the past 3 years. I know that you will all do great work and love what you do, because a Touro student doesn't settle. So I thank you all for making my law experience one that I will never forget. I wish you all the best of luck on the bar exam and in your future endeavors, and I know you will all do great work. Thank you for making me your 2016 class orator.
Thank you, Allie. Last month, we held a wonderful ceremony at the law school to honor all of the graduates receiving awards for their academic achievement, service to the school, service to the legal profession, the public, and the community. Listed in your programs are the names of all of those graduates who received awards at that ceremony. At this time, I'd like to ask all award recipients to stand at their seats so that they may be recognized. And let us all please give you a round of applause. Thank you. We are honored to have litigator Mark Z. Zotterer as our commencement speaker. In nearly half a century at the bar, Mr. Zotterer has compiled an unparalleled record of success in the courtroom, the boardroom, and in public service, and set an example of superb lawyering and selfless dedication to the profession and to the community that will inspire generations of law students. In fact, Mr. Zotterer has just created a new scholarship at Touro Law Center, continuing his leadership and commitment to the profession. When New York State top judges, attorneys, and CEOs face tough cases or need expert counsel, or when the nation's most trusted media need a thoughtful commentator, he is their go-to lawyer. Despite his demanding schedule of complex litigation, he has always found the time to contribute to the public understanding of the legal system and to answer the call of judicial leaders to help improve the courts and the profession. In 1991, New York Chief Judge Sol Wachtler concluded that suing the governor and the legislature was the only way to get adequate funding for state courts. He tapped Mr. Zotterer as his lead trial counsel. In 2003, Chief Judge Judith Kaye chose him to spearhead efforts to reform New York's antiquated jury system, naming him chair of the Commission on the Jury, a blue ribbon panel that held public hearings and recommended changes to make better use of citizens' time in jury service. 2 years later, at the Chief Judge's request, he held town hall-style meetings with high school students in courtrooms throughout New York State to engage them in a dialogue on our jury system. In 2012, Chief Judge Jonathan Lippman appointed Mr. Zotterer to a task force on commercial litigation in the 21st century, and the following year he appointed him to serve on the Commercial Division's Permanent Advisory Council. He is quoted often in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Law Journal, and other national print and electronic media, and has been the subject of 9 half-hour interviews on the acclaimed national PBS television program, The Open Mind, on subjects including the jury system, mandatory retirement for judges and lawyers, cameras in the courts, and the future of the legal profession. Among his many honors and awards, last year the New York Law Journal selected him for its award for Lawyers Who Lead by Example for his lifetime contributions to public service. He was raised in Brooklyn, received a Bachelor of Arts with distinction and departmental honors from Union College, and his Juris Doctor from New York University School of Law. In 2007, Union College awarded him its Ella Follett Knott Alumni Medal for great distinction in the field. We could not be more honored and delighted to have my friend Mark Zauderer with us today to share words of wisdom and to welcome our graduates to the profession.
Good afternoon. This looks like the largest jury pool I've ever faced. It's very intimidating. So, Dr. Kadish, Dean Salkin, distinguished faculty, family, friends, and of course, the graduates of 2016, good afternoon, and what an exciting day for all of you. It's a day that I promise that you will remember for many decades from now, because this gathering celebrates your impressive accomplishments and the recognition that you have earned through your hard work at Touro. When I was given the honor of sharing this day with you, I asked to meet at Touro with a group of students to learn more about you, your backgrounds, your interests, and your goals. And what I found was something that I really was not prepared for. And in speaking with many of you, I learned that your pursuit of a law degree was not merely a convenient path that you took by default upon graduation from college. And over the years, I've become familiar with a number of law schools, and your law school is different. Not one of those law schools stands up to Touro for the optimism and idealism that its students demonstrate. You are people who have chosen to make law the servant of your efforts to help your community and its people, people who, in many cases, are desperately in need of help. And I'm certainly not giving you an empty compliment. Let me share with you some examples of your own life stories. Laura Ahern, who is being graduated with us today, is the founder and an executive director of the Crime Victim Center in Suffolk County. It's a rape crisis center that provides support services to violent crime victims, including elderly, minor, and disabled victims. Laura has received numerous public awards for her work and calls her law degree, and I quote her, both a shield to guard and a weapon to protect the most vulnerable populations in our society, end quote. Expressing her appreciation for Touro, she notes, quote, every law school has professors that can teach substantive law, but not every law school has staff, administrators, and professors that always make themselves and resources available to assist students in achieving outcomes that will have significant impact in their lives and the lives of those they seek to help with a law degree. Stefan Williams, who is also with us today, was born in Guyana, South America, and moved to the United States at age 11 and was raised in the Bronx. And after graduating from John Jay College with a BA in the criminal justice system, he originally wanted to make a change in the world by focusing on international relations, but he soon realized, in his words, that, quote, ground zero for all the issues in the world are at the bottom level where all the people are, end quote. And in addition to interning at a private law firm during law school and at the Public Defender's Office in the Eastern District of New York, he participated in the Iraqi Refugee Assistance Program. It's an organization that helps people who have worked for the U.S. military in Iraq or Afghanistan to obtain refugee status in the U.S. to avoid persecution in their own country. By the way, today is Stefan's 25th birthday, so how about a hand for him? Anthony Avidable. Are you here, Anthony? He decided to go to Touro Law primarily because of Dean Salkin, who was engaged in enhancing the law school curriculum, bringing in more fine professors, and securing donations to help support the new programs and the initiatives that she envisioned for the law school. Anthony wanted to be part of that movement. In fact, in the summer, after his first year, Anthony found his calling. Professor Ken Rosenblum, who's the director of the Touro Law Center Veterans and Service Members' Rights Clinic, welcomed Anthony to participate in his efforts and apply for a fellowship. And as a result, Anthony has worked tirelessly to help veterans with numerous legal issues that confront them both in and out of court. And by the way, Anthony has been offered a commission in the U.S. Army JAG Corps upon graduation from law school. And listen to the story of Katique Sanchez. She is the first person in her family to receive a professional degree. Her family migrated from Colombia, and her parents struggled to support her education. She recalls that her mother always said, and I quote her, "Education is something no one can take away from you," unquote. And with others in her class, Katique participated in Touro's International Refugee Assistance Project. She intends to continue her relationship with Touro and her involvement with the International Refugee Assistance Project as a supervising attorney. Alexandros Tissonis, through his work in Touro's family and bankruptcy law clinics, has helped dozens of indigent clients. Through creative lawyering, he has helped clients climb out of hopelessness and guide them through difficulties into a positive life. And for his excellent work, he was named the Murray and Shirley Rubenstein Clinician of the Year. He is grateful to Touro for providing him with a life-changing experience in law school, and he intends to make helping the financially disadvantaged his future area of concentration. And consider Tal Stanicki's story. Finding his passion, he journeyed from being a near high school failure to a magna cum laude college graduate with honors in psychology. He became a mental health technician in one of the country's top private mental hospitals and worked with patients ranging from child trauma victims to people at risk for suicide. He decided to become a lawyer in order to champion the cause of those with mental health issues and in dealing with the legal system. He credits Touro's law professors with infusing him with a sense of purpose in improving the lives of people with mental health challenges. And last but not least, I want to recognize Gabrielle Cleaves, who at a young age, she witnessed a close family member wrongfully convicted of a crime. During law school, Gabrielle received numerous awards for excellence and has had the opportunity to intern in the Narcotics and Street Gang Bureau of the Nassau District Attorney's Office. She has just been offered and accepted a full-time position in that office after graduation. Gabrielle calls Dean Salkin, as she puts it, quote, the best dean, unquote, and says, quote, "I will always be thankful for Touro Law Center. They helped me make my dreams come true," end quote. Now, I know that many others here today have accomplished similar great things, and time does not permit me to recount all of these wonderful accomplishments, so please do not be offended by the omissions. But in spite of your many accomplishments, you are going to face challenges in your life, and I want to talk to you for a few minutes about one of these. It's called the challenge of professionalism. Now, professionalism is a word that may be familiar to you, but it's probably mostly a thought in the background, one of those nice-sounding attributes that one should strive for. But let me give you a different take on the meaning of professionalism. For those of you who remember your history, over a period of centuries, people in the so-called learned professions, such as law, medicine, accountancy, architecture, and others, achieved a high station in our society. They each developed their own codes of ethics and standards of professional conduct. The coin of the realm for such professional people was not money, but the respect and admiration that the public held for people who were devoted to their education and careers and allowed them to serve the public. Doctors made house calls on nights and weekends, and they didn't return home until all their patients had been seen. Lawyers helped clients in need and often charged them only what they could pay. Professionals were different from others. They rose above the so-called morals of the marketplace and earned the trust of those they served. I'd like to recall for you an incident that stands out in my mind several years ago that illustrates the difference between lawyers and many others. I was attending a bar conference in New York City at a hotel where many sections of the New York State Bar were holding their annual meeting. And there must have been 1,000 lawyers there on a particular day. And as I got in the elevator with several of my colleagues, all of us wearing those name tags that you're familiar with, several businessmen were on the opposite side of the elevator. And seeing our name tags, one of the businessmen said to me, quote, "Did you lawyers learn a lot about making money this morning in your meetings?" And I said, "No, I attended a session on legal ethics. My friend here attended a lecture on changes in the laws of will and estates, and my other friend here gave a talk on his group efforts to set up a pro bono clinic to assist people who could not afford to pay for legal services." And what had the businessmen attended? They had attended a session on building profitability through mergers and a reduction of workforce. In other words, making money by firing employees after a corporate merger. So as the doors to that elevator opened, I walked out and I said to myself, I'm so glad I'm a professional. But in recent decades, there have been some alarming trends that you need to be aware of that impact professionalism and the world you are entering. Professionalism is on attack from within as well as from without. Partners who may have spent their entire life in a law firm because their legal skills are respected are now being evaluated primarily by the amount of business they generate and the number of hours they bill. And if they don't meet these so-called metrics, they are pushed out. Associates are often not given the training that the firms once prided themselves in because neither the firm's clients nor the firm are willing to absorb the cost involved in helping a new lawyer write a brief or memo or attend court to learn from more experienced lawyers. And unlike in the past, when an arguable conflict of interest would preclude a law firm from representing a particular client, and the firm would then decline the representation, today a law firm is likely to fight tooth and nail to keep the matter and oppose a motion to disqualify the firm based on the claimed conflict. Let me give you an example to illustrate my point about the decline of professionalism. You may remember that a decade ago, the major energy company Enron, you remember Enron? Well, it failed spectacularly and some people went to jail. Enron's accounting firm at the time was one of the world's largest, Arthur Andersen and Company, which it had failed to detect Enron's fraudulent business practices. And the accounting firm was indicted for various reasons and soon went out of business. And it was observed at the time that the professionalism that once was associated with that accounting firm had declined. Why? Well, when Mr. Arthur Andersen started the accounting firm many decades before, partners in the firm were compensated based on the quality of their work and dedication to client service. Decades later, as in so many other professional organizations, the firm's compensation system had changed. Partners were now compensated based on the revenue they brought in from clients. Well, given these financial incentives and disincentives, the partners overseeing the Enron account were disincentivized to find any problems with Enron's financial accounting, because had they raised these problems with Enron's management, the accounting firm might be fired, and the partners overseeing the Enron account would suffer financially if the Enron account were lost. So much for the independence of so-called independent accountants. So what will professionalism mean for you? Let me suggest to you the following. Professionalism is taking to heart and keeping on your desk New York's Code of Professional Conduct that governs our practice of law. Professionalism is always using your independent judgment while taking into account the views of others. Professionalism is saying no when your client tells you to do something that is not in accord with what you believe is right. Professionalism is doing your best at all times, but being willing to admit your mistakes, for it's from making mistakes that we learn. Professionalism is holding your temper when a lawyer adversary or even a judge in court says something that offends you, but it also is speaking up when the circumstances dictate that you do so. Professionalism is acting civilly toward lawyers representing clients adverse to your clients, even if you do not like or respect those lawyers. You will not only respect yourself for this, but you will find that over time, even your adversaries will refer clients to you because they respect you. Professionalism is keeping your promise when you make a commitment to a client or a colleague. And professionalism is remembering that if you speak at all, you will speak the truth. Your reputation is your most valuable possession, and has been said it takes a lifetime to acquire a reputation, but only a moment to lose it. So please remember, respect yourself and those around you. If you do that, you will succeed no matter what path you may follow. Rest assured the financial compensation will follow. If you respect your work and you respect yourself for the way you do it, you will not only succeed, but you will experience a lifetime of satisfaction in your chosen profession. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, and my best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Zotterer, for those inspiring, heartfelt, and personal remarks, and also very important advice for all of us to remember about professionalism. Will Dr. Kadish please join me at the podium? Mark C. Zotterer, as an outstanding leader in the legal profession, a consummate advocate for the cause of justice and truth, and as an exceptional role model for our graduates, I am honored to present to Dr. Alan Kadish at this time as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Upon the recommendation of the Jacob D. Fuchsberg School of Law at Touro College, as president of Touro College, and under the authority granted to me by the Board of Trustees of Touro and the Board of Regents of the State of New York, I hereby confer upon Mark Zotterer the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights, privileges, obligations, and immunities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, Mark.
So Mr. Eric Adams is here. I'm sorry, he just arrived from another event, and so he'll be joining us in the room shortly. For the past 3 decades, Eric L. Adams has served the residents of the city of his birth as a police officer, coalition builder, state senator, and since November 2013, as Brooklyn Borough President, the highest-ranking elected official of America's 4th largest city, and the first African American to hold that office. In his career as a police officer with New York City Transit and the New York Police Department, He made the kind of life and death decisions that reflect his insight, expertise, and poise under fire, resulting in his promotion to captain and earning him the reputation for going above and beyond the call of duty. In 1995, he co-founded 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care, an initiative that not only improved NYPD community relations, but raised funds for worthy causes throughout the city. From 2006 until his election to Borough President, he represented the 20th Senate District, which includes Borough Park, Flatbush, Crown Heights, Park Slope, Prospect Heights, Sunset Park, and Windsor Terrace, working tirelessly to address a broad range of issues affecting constituents, from civil rights and public safety to transparency in government and quality of life. He organized support against the New York Police Department's controversial stop and frisk policy and led efforts on behalf of gun control. His record in the New York State Senate underscores his strong commitment to the rights of people from every walk of life, including protecting the right to privacy, supporting marriage equality, and defending a woman's right to choose. Throughout his career, he has been an effective advocate for Brooklyn, bringing people and communities together to create progressive change and working with both the private and public sectors to invigorate the borough's economy by encouraging job growth and investment in every neighborhood. Whether his beat was on the street or in the halls of government, he has always looked out for the city's working families and sought to protect its most vulnerable residents. A big believer in the power of connections, of bringing people in need of services with resources that have long existed but have been underutilized, he has opened Brooklyn Borough Hall in ways that it has never been before, allowing thousands of people to connect for the first time with government and civic life. He received his associate's degree from City Tech and his bachelor's degree from John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and a master's of public administration from Marist College. We are delighted to recognize Mr. Adams' dedicated service to New York City, the state, and the nation, and I am honored to present Mr. Adams to Dr. Alan Kadish at this time as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Good to see you. Perfect timing. President Adams was just able to join us, and we're thrilled to have him here. I had a chance to meet him a couple of months ago in his office at the Brooklyn City Hall, which is actually an extraordinarily impressive place. If you've never visited it, it's worth a visit just to see it. But he struck me not only as a dedicated public official, but someone deeply committed to his community, to education, and with a thoughtful approach to governance. So, because of that and because of your accomplishments, I have the honor to say that upon the recommendation of the Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, as president of Touro College, and with the authority granted to me by the Touro College Board of Trustees and the Board of Regents of the State University of New York, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, obligations, and immunities relating to it. Congratulations. President Adams.
Thank you so much. It is clearly not about Eric Adams. I'm not elected to serve. I'm not elected to be served. I'm elected to serve. And I spent 22 years of my life wearing a bulletproof vest, protecting the children and families of this city. And I will continue to do that as a state senator or as a borough president or as long as I'm a public servant. And to the men and women who are now part of the professional life, It's about two things. One, we are who we are because of our hyphen. Our hyphen defines us as Americans. It is what makes us great. It is our secret ingredient in the recipe of democracy. Irish-American, Polish-American, African-American, Jewish-American, Pakistan-American, Yemen-American. All of those who came to these great shores, we are not great because of our individuality. We are great because we are the only country on the planet that allows you to embrace your culture and become part of this American dream. You are the keepers of that dream, the protector of that hyphen. These are the times when it calls on us more than ever to ensure that that hyphen is protected. We're the land of the free, the home of the brave, not the home of cowards. We protect those things that are important to us, and we must always stand true. Lastly, competition is important. Embracing the diversity, appreciating what diversity has to offer. Visit a mosque, a synagogue, a Baptist church, a Buddhist temple. Learn about other lifestyles and foods and cultures. Diversity is going to allow us to develop our full personhood and define us who we are and what the future is hold. And all of that comes with the eager and competitiveness of tomorrow. When I was in China, one of the prime ministers told his people something that was very significant. He said, I don't care if you are a white cat or a black cat, you still have to catch the mouse. You got to catch the mouse. No one wants to hear that the mouse was too fast or was too quick, and it doesn't mean that you will catch it on the first try. You will make errors and mistakes. I am the poster child of errors. When I graduated from high school, I was a solid D student in my good years, but a whole lot of A students can't call themselves the Borough President of Brooklyn. Keep pushing, keep trying, keep moving. And in your success, not everybody's going to love you. Not everyone is going to like as you move the globe in the direction that it ought to go in. Here's what you do. When you sit down at the table of success, have all your haters become your waiters and keep moving forward. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, President Adams. We now come to the central part of our ceremony, the presentation of graduates and the hooding ceremony. And remember, the hooding ceremony is a symbol of degree conferral and the passing on of the responsibilities of the profession. Will our December 2015 graduates please rise? Dr. Kadish, I have the honor to present to you the recipients of the Master of Laws degree in U.S. Legal Studies and the Juris Doctor degrees who finished their requirements in December 2015. Having successfully completed all requirements for the degrees as prescribed by the faculty of the Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, they have earned the approbation of the faculty.
Pursuant to the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the State of New York and the trustees of Touro College, and having completed the specified requirements for said degrees, I hereby confirm the conferral of the Master of Law degree in U.S. Legal Studies and the degrees of Juris Doctor, respectively, on the members of the class of 2016 who completed their requirements in December of 2015. Congratulations, graduates.
Please be seated. Will our May and July 2016 degree candidates please rise? Dr. Kadish, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Master of Laws in U.S. Legal Studies, Master of Laws, one dual degree candidate for Juris Doctor and Master of Business Administration, and the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. In anticipation of successful completion of all requirements for the degrees as prescribed by the faculty of the Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, the candidates have earned the approbation of the faculty.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the State of New York and the Board of Trustees of Touro College, upon completion of the selected requirements for these specified degrees, I hereby confirm the conferral of the Masters of Laws degrees in U.S. Legal Studies and the degrees of Juris Doctor, respectively, on these candidates and members of the class of 2016. Congratulations.
Please be seated. At this time, I would like to call upon Professor Louis Silverman, Chair of the Graduation and Awards Committee. Professor Silverman will formally present the names of the recipients and candidates for degrees. He's being assisted by Registrar Paula Kutch and her staff.
Family and friends of our graduates, our students have worked very hard to earn the right to be here today, and you have all been a part of their efforts. When your graduate's name is called, we encourage you to recognize their achievements. Do not hold your applause to the end. Show your pride and joy. Each graduate is being hooded by a member of the Touro faculty or administration or by an attorney they have chosen. The purpose of the hooding ceremony is to pass on the mantle of the legal profession from one generation to the next. The hooding ceremony will be assisted by Class Professor Rena Seplowitz and Assistant Dean for Student Services, Charlotte Taylor. Luis A. Guzman being hooded by Professor Lawrence Rafel. Brianna McIntyre Azuro being hooded by her father, Edward McIntyre Sr. Rayanna C.P. Byram being hooded by her father, Roy P. Byram. Beijing Cheng in absentia. Mikkel T. Demacia being hooded by Professor Deborah Post. Brian J. D. Pentima being cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Jonathan Michael Drapan being hooded by Professor Danielle Schwager, class of 1998. Thomas J. Frederico being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Barney J. Giannone, being hooded by the Honorable Mark Cohn. Being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Being hooded by Dr. Kadish. Katerina Grinko, being hooded by her mentor, Lisa Combrink. Zachary E. Catan, being hooded by his mother, Cheryl Catan, class of 1984. You told me. Heidi Collins, being hooded by Dean Patricia Salkin. Chad Lennon, cum laude, being hooded by Associate Dean Kenneth Rosenblum. Wei Tian Lee, cum laude, being hooded by his mentor, Jackie Huang, Esquire. Arsalan Ali Memon, magna cum laude, being hooded by Dean Patricia Salkin. Michael Papson, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Waldy R. Pierre, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Katiklan Sanchez, being hooded by Associate Dean Myra Berman, class of 2005. J.P. Sherrill, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Amanda E. Spinner, magna cum laude, being hooded by her father, the Honorable Jeffrey A. Spinner, class of 1987. Whitney R. Steiner, being hooded by Professor Suzanne Darrow Kleinhaus, class of 1998. Adam J. Walkneen, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Subarna P. Biswas, being hooded by Professor Lawrence Rafel. Ranjan Day, being hooded by Professor Deborah Post. Hong Jin Ha, being hooded by Professor Thomas Schweitzer. Papa Makadu Nyang, cum laude, being hooded by Professor Thomas Schweitzer. Kelly J. Vargas, cum laude, being hooded by Professor Peter Zablotsky. John Lazar, in absentia. Cindy D. Lillane, being hooded by Professor Desiree Kennedy. Tabitha Addy, being hooded by Professor Dan Sabatnik. Laura A. Ahern, magna cum laude, being hooded by Suffolk County Legislator Steve Stern. Paul R. Alessandri, being hooded by Professor William Brooks. Camille Neze Anidi, being hooded by her aunt, Patricia Waite. Julia Marianella Cappy Ancinelli, magna cum laude, being hooded by her husband, Adam Ancinelli, class of 2011. Joyce Carolina Avila, being hooded by Associate Dean Myra Berman, class of 2005. Anthony Caspare Joseph Avidable, being hooded by Associate Dean Kenneth Rosenblum. Steve Bangayev, being hooded by Professor Theodore Silver. Michael J. Bello, being hooded by his grandfather, Joseph Matone Sr. Michael J. Bignami II, being hooded by Associate Dean Kenneth Rosenblum. Alexandra N. Brancato, cum laude, being hooded by her sister Francesca Brancato. Mary Kate Louise Brigham, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Dane John Anthony Bryant, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Gina Ann Burke, being hooded by Professor Theodore Silver. Cynthia Maria Capobianco, being hooded by Dean Patricia Salkin. Paul Carruthers, being hooded by Professor Lynn Kramer. Julia Castori, being hooded by her uncle and godfather, Paul Lovegrove. Joseph Castriani, being hooded by Professor Sidney Questel. Erica Castro, being hooded by her mentor, Tesla Carrasquillo, class of 2014. Vanessa J. Cavallaro, magna cum laude, being hooded by her mentor, Barbara M. Welczek. Jessica Ann Chicali, being hooded by Professor Lillian Speece, class of 2000. John Siafi, in absentia. Gabrielle Cleaves, being hooded by the Honorable James McCormick. Alexandra A. Colon, being hooded by her mother, Olga de la Cruz. Jennifer Corbalon, being hooded by Professor Richard Klein. Sharon Rose Cryan, being hooded by Professor Eileen Kaufman. Kristen Marie Curley, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Amelia Jane Solotka, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Amanda M. Daddiego, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Matthew C. D'Amato, cum laude, being hooded by his mother, Christine Sikowski. Abraham Ali Dayon, being hooded by his father, Jeffrey Dayon, class of 1985. Gregory DeTola, being hooded by Professor David Aker. Kelly Victoria Decker, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Anthony D. Chiara, being hooded by his mentor, Dan Strafer, class of 2014. Nicole Donnelly, being hooded by her mentor, Kimberly Kalmanson. Patrick Dudian, being hooded by Professor Peter Zablotsky. Lauren Dwerica, summa cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Dahlia Elward, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Daniel Eugene, being hooded by Professor Gary Shaw. Joseph M. Felici, being hooded by Professor Richard Klein. Christina Conchetta Ford, being hooded by Professor Sidney Questel. Shante Francis, being hooded by her cousin, Monique Manigault. John J. Gabriel, Jr., being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Kathleen A. Garvison, being hooded by Professor Heather Melniker. Irene Gay, being hooded by Professor Lillian Speece, class of 2000, and Professor Gary Shaw. Michael D. Giamarusco, being hooded by Professor Lynn Kramer. Loretta Basile Giannone, being hooded by Professor Suzanne Darrow Kleinhaus, class of 1998. Kimberly Page Gitlin, being hooded by her mentor, Catherine Staton. Melissa Ann Grippa, being hooded by Professor Lynn Kramer, Professor Stephanie Giuliano, class of 2010, CSO Director Margaret Williams, class of 2005, and her mentor Matthew Gray, class of 2015. Daniel Halbert, being hooded by Professor Lawrence Rayful. Matthew Hetrick, summa cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Shobha Jaglal, being hooded by Professor Eileen Cooper. Rachel Michelle Keremans, being hooded by Professor Danielle Schwager, class of 1998. Victoria Karlamenko, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. James C. Kirby, in absentia. Allison Cram, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Karen Frances LaGrega, cum laude, being hooded by her father, Donald LaGrega. Jae Hyung Lee, being hooded by Professor Meredith Miller. Stephanie Rachel Levine, being hooded by her father, Scott K. Levine. Dana Marie Lacondro, being hooded by CSO Director Margaret Williams, class of 2005. Kevin Patrick Macaron, being hooded by his father, John Macaron. Dana Mangia Capper, being hooded by Associate Dean Myra Berman, class of 2005. Samantha Jo Mano, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. Danielle Marino, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. Edward Timothy McIntyre Jr., being hooded by his father, Edward McIntyre Sr. Sean P. McLeod, being hooded by Professor Richard Klein and his mentor, Megan Tomlin, class of 2011. Saba Mekbib, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Douglas Scherer. Catherine P. Mandolia, cum laude, being hooded by her mentor, Doreen J. Schindel. Kevin R. Mayer, cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Amanda Jean Miller, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Jeremy M. Miller, magna cum laude, being hooded by Dean Patricia Salkin. Jolivette Maria Mitchell, being hooded by her mentor, Nadia Wilkinson Etnell. Nicole L. Montroni, being hooded by her fiancé, Keith Feinberg. Ashley Maruzzi, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Gary Shaw. Benjamin K. Mosery, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Laura J. Mulholland, magna cum laude, being hooded by her father, Mark S. Mulholland. Ryan Nassim, summa cum laude, being hooded by his mentor, Susan Persaud, class of 2005. Bridget Marie Nunez, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Matthew D. Oginski, being hooded by Professor Lynn Kramer. Elizabeth Ann Perez, being hooded by her mentor and best friend, Joseph Chapman, class of 2015. Manuel de Jesus Perez, being hooded by his mentor, John J. Riley. Claire F. Persico, being hooded by the Honorable Frank Galata, Jr. Jane Eve Petroff, being hooded by her husband, Serge Petroff. Harrison Paul Shepard Pfeffer, being hooded by his brother, Adam Pfeffer, class of 2005. Victoria Plotniskaya, being hooded by Professor Danielle Schwager, class of 1998. Brittany A. Prim, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Taryn Lee Prusinski, magna cum laude, being hooded by Richard Schaefer, Babylon Town Supervisor. Andrew J. Puppo, in absentia. Robert M. Reichenbach, being hooded by his mentor, Thomas Santucci, class of 1983. Lauren Ashley Reed, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Paul Andrew Rivera, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Joseph Rizza, magna cum laude, being hooded by Associate Dean Roger Citron. Miguel P. Rodriguez, being hooded by Associate Dean Myra Berman, class of 2005. Diana Romanello, cum laude, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. Robin Lee Rothman, being hooded by her father, William Rothman. Brian Russo, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Fad Sadek, being hooded by Professor Richard Klein. Tonich Sang, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Candy Nairobi Santana, being hooded by CSO Senior Director Erica Edwards O'Neill, class of 1999. Stephanie A. Schenlinger, magna cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Melinda Ann Cedarquist, cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Mary C. Seifert, cum laude, being hooded by her father, Robert Seifert. Jessica M. Simmons, being hooded by Associate Dean Myra Berman, class of 2005. Hanin R. Shadud, being hooded by Professor Denise Marzano Doty. Elaine Sigmund, being hooded by Professor Daniel Sabatnik. Anil Singh, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Tal Stanecki, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Cassandra Marie Stigo, being hooded by Professor Lillian Speece, class of 2000. Igor Stoliar, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. Yvette A. Stewart Presley, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Bo V. Taylor, being hooded by Professor Peter Zablotsky. Jennifer B. Terry, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Jennifer Tochi, being hooded by Professor Danielle Schwager, class of 1998. Alexandros Elias Tassonis, being hooded by Professor Louis Silverman. Johanna Carolina Urena, being hooded by Professor Eileen Cooper. Samantha J. Valentin, being hooded by her mentor, Joyce Kendrick, class of 1995. Jeanette Martha Valeda, cum laude, being hooded by her cousin, Stephen Burnell. Ronald Vinbitel, being hooded by Professor Sidney Questel. Terrence Christian Wagner, being hooded by Professor Eileen Cooper. Matthew S. Walker, being hooded by Professor Deborah Post. Brian Patrick Walsh, being hooded by Professor Sarah Adams Shane. Ashley M. Williams, being hooded by Professor Suzanne Darrow Kleinhaus, class of 1998. Stefan J. Williams, being hooded by Professor Richard Klein. Lauren C. Whitland, summa cum laude, being hooded by Professor Rena Seplowitz. Eleonora Zeltzer, being hooded by Professor Daniel Sabatnik. Congratulations to you all, Touro Law Center, class of 2016.
Okay? You can sit down for 2 more minutes. We're almost there. A group congratulations to all of you. You now become members of a group of over 6,000 graduates of Touro Law Center. It's my pleasure to introduce Bruce Gould, a member of the class of 1984. Bruce is a member of our Board of Governors, the donor of our first distinguished chair, and he and his family have been great benefactors to our institution, and he would like to welcome you to our alumni family.
Thank you, Dean Salkin. On behalf of the more than 6,000 alumni, I want to say welcome. Welcome to our ranks. You join a distinguished group of alums that include such people like U.S. Congresswoman Kathleen Rice, New York Senate Majority Leader John Flanagan, State Senator Ken LaValle, and Joseph Adabu, Assemblyman Al Graf, New York State judges and acting judges Louis Lubell, Arlene Spinner, and Lynn Kotler, CEOs and General Counsel of many leading corporations, and partners and managing partners in many of the top law firms throughout the country. You are now part of this prestigious group of alumni, and someday, soon, you will be recognized for your accomplishments in your chosen profession. A law degree offers you an opportunity to make a success in many different ways. I myself chose to go into the private corporate sector and work with my family to build a successful legal and statutory publishing business. When we were fortunate enough to be acquired by a larger company, I had 2 choices. Could walk away and enjoy the fruits of my labor, or I could give back to the institutions that helped me become who I am today. I chose the latter. I got involved in my community. I tried every day to make the world a better place, and more importantly, I will never forget the individuals and the institution that made me the success I am. I challenge you, graduates of the class of 2016, please do the same. Remember those who were there for you throughout your education, your parents, your family, your significant others, and your loved ones. They worked just as hard as you to make sure that you got the education that you have today. And lastly, when you establish yourself in the legal community, business world, or public service, please remember this fine institution that has helped you to formulate your legal mind. Give back and be involved. I guarantee you that it will be the most rewarding thing you ever do in your life. Again, congratulations, fellow alumni, and best of luck in your profession.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction, which will be delivered by Law Center Campus Rabbi Baruch Fogel.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Heavenly Father, as we stand here together at the end of this momentous occasion, we pray to you, Hashem Yishmor Tzeischa Uvaecha, may God watch over you as you leave and as you enter, as you leave this wonderful institution, and as you enter the community of those dedicated to helping others. We ask God to bless the parents, spouses, siblings, friends, and all those who have supported our graduates and who have invested their time and their love so that these graduates were able to stand here today. Bless them, that they merit to continuously enjoy in their success and in the actualization of the good that they know that these graduates can accomplish in the world. Ribon Kol Olam, Master of the world, continue to bless administration, staff, and faculty of this wonderful law school, and help us all in our effort to educate and train lawyers who will make a real difference in your world, dear God. Bless those who gave so much of themselves to ensure that every aspect of the school runs so smoothly with continued strength for years and years to come. And we also pray for a continued blessing for those who strive to impart lessons and ideals, who mold and shape their students so they can now go and change the world. Most of all, we pray today that you bless our honored students whose graduation we are celebrating today. Bless them that the lofty goals, dreams, and hopes that they have in their hearts as they stand here today stay with them always. Kel Elyon, Almighty God, we ask that these women and men be given the opportunities in life for them to actualize the aspirations that they hold in their hearts. We pray that the challenges they will face will only help them grow as people, as lawyers, and above all, as partners in bettering your world. Grant them the ability to recognize the challenges they will face as the wonderful opportunities that they really are. Let them be a beacon of light to their profession, their country, and to the world. Help them and us to make this world a better place. Oseh Shalom B'Mromav, God who makes peace in the heavens, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, we pray, they bring peace to all of us here on earth. Amen.
I now declare these commencement exercises officially concluded. Family members and guests, we ask that you remain seated for just a few minutes longer so that our faculty and distinguished guests and now graduates can exit the theater. Faculty procession will exit this way. Student and now graduate procession will exit that way. Graduates, faculty, and administrators, family members, proceed to the atrium for a reception and photo opportunity. Graduates may return gowns in the lobby to your left as you exit the theater. The caps and hoods are yours to keep. Professor Richard Klein will now lead the distinguished guests, administration, and faculty out of the theater. This aisle, please. Faculty marshals will lead the graduates out of the theater. This aisle, please. And again, family and guests, please remain seated until the end of the recessional. Congratulations all, and thank you for coming.